Okay, for human body systems for Monday, December 7th, Tuesday, December 8th. We'll talk about what we're going to be doing in class first. So we left off with the urinalysis lab. You should have turned in your nephron poster last week. So that should be turned in. We're approaching a test at the end of the week, which is on Friday, quiz over 3.3 and 3.4, which is the respiratory and the urinary system. So 3, 4, 5 is the last lesson in there. So you may have gotten some of this done. Some of you got a couple of these tested. Some of you got more than that. So you will finish testing these individuals for what is in their urinalysis. And hopefully you have made a diagnosis already for what you think they have. And then you are going to provide an evidence-based explanation using the evidence from the urinalysis as well as their symptoms to confirm what their diagnosis is. So we'll be doing the lab work in class. So it's just primarily filling these things out is what I'm in this information out. Obviously, you have a paper copy, so that paper copy pictures of it are fine to be submitted as well. And so that is going to get turned in to Canvas to this activity, 345 urinalysis lab, and that's due December 8th. Okay, Tuesday, December 8th. So that would take care of the urinalysis lab. Additionally, I'm going to be giving you a review sheet in class. And if anybody happens to be absent on Monday or on the day that you're supposed to be here, I will make sure to send those with you. You will be able to use a note card on the test or on the quiz on Friday. Okay, but that you'll get that review sheet on Monday, so you have some time to prepare. We'll review a little bit more in class on Wednesday, Thursday as well. Okay, so I do want to move though into the next section. And the next section is Unit 4. It's actually the next unit because we're done with power. So remember, Unit 1 was identity. Unit 2 is communication. Unit 3 is power. Unit 4 is movement. And so with movement, we got to talk about how the body moves and also how things move within the body, such as blood flow. But we're going to focus on muscles and joints in motion and exercise science with this as well. So the first lesson is 4.1, joints in motion. And the lesson is bones, joints, action. Activities, bones, joints, action. And so if you click here, you'll see this lesson. All right, bones, joints, action. You'll download or link to this URL, which is the 411 workbook. It will bring you here. What I would like you to do for Monday, Tuesday is to get the first 2 pages done. These 4 pages are not due until Thursday. So part of this you're going to do Monday, Tuesday, part of it Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're going to go on to another activity, range of motion, Wednesday, Thursday as well. But the bones, joints, action, that is the exclamation mark in there. That is what I want you to work on in addition. So you're going to finish the urinalysis lab, make those diagnoses, turn that in, right? Finish that up, and then start here. Now, where do you get the resources for this? So it's going to talk about bones and joints. So primarily, we're talking about where bones come together, and where those bones come together, how do those allow for movement? So we're going to define some of the joints that are in the body. If you think of a joint is a place where 2 bones come together, and usually there's something like a ligament or a tendon that's going to like a ligament is connecting to like 2 bones together versus a tendon, which is a ligament, which is a bone and a muscle. So muscles move bones, but you have to have joints to have something for those bones to move with. So you'll do some reading here, and it's best to do this through the distance learning version because there's a video that's in that version that you'll watch. And so just for this part, only go as far as I tell you to do at this point. So you'll read about joints, range of motion, a couple definitions about that. And there's 3 types of joints in the body: fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints, and synovial joints. We're primarily going to focus on synovial joints. And synovial joints are called synovial joints because they have this synovial fluid, the lubrication between the 2 bones. Okay, so that's what a synovial joint is. We'll talk more about that in class next week. And then you're going to research the 6 main types of synovial joints. So if you go into courses, read this information to fill out the first page stuff. Now you have the 6 main types of synovial joints. Okay. And so you have saddle, ball and socket, condyloid, plane, hinge, and pivot joint. Additionally, there is, if you click on these, it shows the motion. Ooh, isn't that cool? All right, and shows how these move. So you have to describe their motion, and you may have to do some research to find a good description. So you're going to do a sketch of the joint, okay, of how the bones meet at that joint. So sketch it as best you can, and then you're going to describe the motion of the joint. So if I were doing this and I saw like the saddle joint, okay, so I would just, you make the drawing and you would say that the two bones can move in one direction perpendicular to each other. All right, they can move forward and backward on one plane but perpendicular to each other. And then later, the next lesson, you're going to look for examples of these in the body. All right, but I'll give you one example of this one. Would be the thumb, the joint of the first bone of the thumb closest to the wrist. That first bone is a saddle joint. So we'll talk about those in class more on Wednesday and Thursday. Identify those, and then explore the range of motion of different joints. So hopefully that's clear. Just make sure that you turn in the 3, 4, 5-year analysis. Your nephron poster should be turned in. Make sure you're preparing for the quiz that's on Friday/Monday, depending upon when you're here. And then work on the joints assignment, 411 workbook, getting through these first 2 pages only. Please don't go ahead to the others because I'm going to do a more explanation with that before we get there. So that is all.